Roll call. Here.
Here.
Any conflicts of interest? Item 4, approval of minutes of the meeting of June 5th, 2014.
I didn't have an opportunity, so I'd like to make a motion that we defer action on the minutes. Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item A, bid opening, demolition.
We have 4 bids. The first bid is from JM Industrial Services Incorporated, 201 Marble Street, Hammond, Indiana. You have your Form 96 filled out. They have their non-inclusion affidavit. Their total bid for all the properties is $267,483. Next bid is from RSR Demolition, 1370 Joliet Street, Dyer, Indiana. They have their Form 96, and they have their non-inclusion affidavit. They did not bid all the properties. They did not bid 2841 Cleveland or 1530 Davis or 1427 Sherman. Their total bid for all the bids doesn't make any sense because it's $310.93. They may have put the decimal in a wrong spot, but even that doesn't make any sense. Huh? You think that's what it is? He didn't even bid all the properties. Well, it might be $310,931, but we'll total up all the separate numbers and make a decision during the review of the bid. Next is Gary Material Supply LLC, 7318 West 15th Avenue, Gary, Indiana. They bid all the properties except for 2841 Cleveland. Their bid is $364,550. And they do have their Form 96 and their non-inclusion affidavit signed. Next is Acton Contracting LLC, P.O. Box 518, East Chicago, Indiana. They have their Form 96 filled out. See a non-inclusion affidavit, but it might be in here someplace. There it is. They were sticking together. They didn't bid the Cleveland garage. They bid everything else. Their total bid is $383,810. I'd like to make a motion these be referred to code enforcement for tabulation and recommendation.
Second. Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item B, proposal to proceed for the Marquette Greenway.
Before we move on to item B, I didn't realize you had only called the first address. I'm Jamie Driscoll. I represent the tax sale purchaser at 5111 Calumet Avenue. My client expects to receive an order to issue a deed at a September 26 hearing. I'd ask today that the bid not be awarded on that property today.
This is on item A. You're on the demolition list, right, sir?
Yes,
5111 Calumet?
yes. Yeah, my client's intentions are to get a deed to this property and do a total rehab. I'm not aware if it's been an illegal cut up or anything, but if it is, to have it be a single-family home and sell it that way.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, okay.
Mr. President, this occurs quite a bit. The property changed hands during the demolition process. This is just the bid openings. Bids have not been awarded yet. And then once awarded, permits would have to be issued. So we're still a couple steps ahead. Mr. Driscoll and I worked before on agreements to rehabilitate. He just needs to contact Kurt Cook, get the inspection, and that stays the proceeding.
We have a motion to amend item A, and are we in-
Correct. I mean, it's just an open bid. We can't unopen the bid.
Okay.
But bids will be awarded next week, and we could always, of course, defer awarding that bid or defer issuing permits.
So the bid will be awarded at the hearing next week?
Correct.
Okay, should I come and do the same thing? We'll get an inspection order?
That's what I'm saying. In the meantime, if you get an inspection, that puts a stay on it.
Perfect, okay.
And I get what Mr.
We can't unopen it. We've already opened it.
Cook, before the next meeting.
So, no, that's fine, and I did not understand that the bid will not be awarded pursuant to today's hearing. So I'll do what I need to do prior to next week.
Very
All
good.
right, thanks, Chris. Thank you, Board.
Back to item B, proposals received for the Marquette Greenway.
We got 4 proposals. These are not price sensitive, so I'm only going to read the name of the engineering firm. First one is from Clark Dietz Incorporated, 8900 Keystone Crossing, Indianapolis, Indiana. Next one is from First Group Engineering, 5925 Lakeside Boulevard, Indianapolis, Indiana. Next one is from Nice Engineering Incorporated, 2421 173rd Street, Hammond, Indiana. And the final one is from Primera Engineering, 9200 Calumet Avenue, Suite N301, Munster, Indiana. I'd like to make a motion these be referred to the engineering department so that they can be reviewed in accordance with the federal selection process.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item C, contract with Midwestern Electric for the Southeastern Avenue Ornamental Street Lighting Project, 175th Street to Columbia.
Yeah, these have been reviewed by the city attorney and they're in order. This work's going to be performed in the 5th District. Councilman has the money to pay for the work. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the contract.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Ayes have it. Item D, agreement with First Group Engineering for construction engineering services in the 4th District Lighting Project.
This is similar to the last one, but this is for the engineering services for the supervision of the lighting project in the 4th District. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agreement with First Group.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Ayes have it. Item E, construction inspection agreement for the Southeastern Avenue Ornamental Street Lighting Project with United Consultants.
Yeah, this is supervision of that lighting project. City attorneys reviewed the agreement. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agreement with United Consulting.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item F, correspondence received from HAPS Inc. requesting permission for lane closure on Soul Avenue and Holman Avenue for rail repair.
Yeah, these will not be total closures. They're going to remove the rails and overlay that section of street. This is the old Indiana Harbor Belt line that runs on the north side of the river. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve their lane closures.
Second. Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item G, Request for advertising dates of August 7th, August 14th, and a bid opening date of August 28th for the demolition of 840 Becker, 1013 Chicago, both dwellings, 4913 Elm, garage only, 1325 Field, 551 Goslin, 510 to 12 Kenwood, 835 Lyons, 827 Morris, 5730 Northcott, 1011 177th Place, 644 Sibley Street, 4320 Torrance Avenue, and 5606 Walter Avenue, house and garage.
I'd like to make a motion that we set those advertising and bid opening dates.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item H, correspondence received from DLZ Engineering regarding the bid award for the Hammond Purdue Calumet Outdoor Athletics Complex at Dowling Park for Phase 2.
The recommendation from DLZ is not to award the project at the present time. There's a possibility that it may be rebid in the future. So the recommendation is to reject all the bids received. So I'd like to make a motion that we reject all the bids.
Second. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item I, disposal authorizations received from the Hammond Police Department.
A motion that we approve their request for the disposal.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item I, grievance hearing, Engineer Patrick O'Hara and Engineer Eric Sanders.
Morning. My name is
Morning.
Keith Carlson. I'm the attorney for IAFF Local 556, union representing the firefighters here in Hammond.
You're on the air.
Certainly. Okay, there are two separate grievances. We'll go in the order that they're listed with regard to Engineer O'Hara. Engineer O'Hara retired. According to Section 9.1 of the contract, he's entitled to, that he will be paid his additional benefits, fringe benefits, I believe is the title of that section, in full. That would be a total of $1,905 that he wasn't paid when he retired. That would include $280 in underpayment for certifications as an EMT, firefighter 1 and 2, as well as his hazmat or hazardous materials training, $475 for his clothing allowance, $1,050 unpaid for his residency, as well as $100 in acting pay. So that's the first one to deal with. We believe that the contract unambiguously states that he'll be paid in full for those fringe benefits. His benefits were prorated.
Chief Margraf?
I would like to add that the article in its entirety, fringe benefits, says that we also will adhere to the recommendations from the State Board of Accounts. We've sought that opinion, and they said what you guys have been doing is proper. Any benefit that Kevin Margraf enjoys for the entire year that he works, that benefit has usually been prorated to the date the individual retires. In Pat O'Hara's case, he was gone June the 1st. Anything he would have been afforded in that 6-month or 5-month period, he was paid.
In addition to that, I think it's important that the chief did bring up Indiana law and the way that the State Board of Accounts says that things will be done. One of the things involving firefighter O'Hara, or Engineer O'Hara, is that he took a day off, and instead of being docked for a day at straight time, he was docked for a day at time and a half. Indiana law doesn't allow that, even if it's consented to by the employee. You can't fine an employee. In this case, he's owed at least a half time in that regard.
My understanding that he wasn't fined, it wasn't considered a fine, but he agreed in writing to give up time and a half. So what's the issue?
The issue is that you can't consent to be fined. It's Indiana law makes clear that you
Not
can't.
a fine, sir.
With all due respect, that's exactly what it is. He took a day off rather than docking him for the pay that he would have received that day.
Yes.
They paid him an addition. They
Yes.
chose not to pay him an additional
And
amount.
for that day off, fire department had to have a firefighter come in to be paid a time and a half, and firefighter O'Hare agreed to reimburse the department time and a half in writing.
which is not the standard in Indiana under the law.
No, it may not be the standard.
I'm saying it's not the legal standard allowed for under the law.
Well, I mean, do you have the statute that can show me that?
The Indiana Wage Act.
Indiana what?
The Indiana Wage Act says that you cannot do that. I don't have the exact citation, but I can provide it to you if you like.
Chief?
I would just like to add that what is missing in this argument is that Mr. O'Hara was afforded the opportunity to pay the city back. We had asked him, okay, we understand, you're not here today, all we want you to do is pay the city back. He said, go ahead and take my pay, in writing.
At time and a half, correct?
Yes.
Which is not something that's allowed for under Indiana law. You can't consent to breaking the law.
Okay.
And there's a variety of good policy reasons if you'd like me to go into why that exists, but you understand that there's a variety of circumstances in which any employer can exert authority over their employees and that they can say, the law is there to be able to avoid that sort of coercion to the extent it may exist.
I understand. I
Okay.
understand the point. Would you object to us requesting an opinion from State Board of Accounts?
Not at all. Certainly you have to do your due diligence. We understand that.
I recommend we take this under advisement till we get an opinion from State Board.
I'll concur with that.
Motion
Just for the record, I recuse myself from this.
and a concurrence. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next.
Okay, the second is involving section 27.4 of the contract, and this is what's known as the physical bonus, the annual physical bonus. This is predated the ordinance 9160, which incorporated an additional health pay for a blood draw. So there are two different totally separate benefits that we're talking about. So one is the annual physical bonus, and the second is the blood draw healthcare deduction that is given to every city employee. So I want to first start out by saying,
If they get the blood draw.
correct. You're not required to get the blood draw. If you elect, then you've met the condition preceding to be able to receive the blood draw money.
Correct.
Whereas firefighters, due to the additional risks that they encounter due to their nature of their work, have a contractual opportunity to engage in a department physical, which is obviously a broader examination than just drawing blood. And it's to encourage a healthy work population that has obviously several benefits to the firefighters, as well as to the department, the city, and the citizens that they serve. You obviously want a healthy workforce to be able to engage in dangerous activities. So that's the purpose of the annual physical bonus, is to encourage firefighters to engage in the annual physical. When they do that, they then receive $300 prorated reductions from their healthcare premiums.
Correct.
As a totally separate matter, there is a $400 basic reduction prorated throughout the year if they engage in the blood draw. So there are two totally separate things. So I want to make clear from the union, from the union's perspective, and on behalf of the members they represent, they are not choosing one and they are not choosing the other. They are totally separate benefits. So I want to make clear that this isn't an election of remedies, that we're saying we want this one instead of that one, that one was bargained for under the contract. And it's probably important to note when this contract was negotiated that it was not a choice between the two. So with regard to the annual physical bonus, none have been paid for the past 2 years.
Okay.
As such, it's a clear, we believe, contract violation. As a larger concern, today is an important opportunity for, obviously, the union to be able to discuss the matter with the board as a conduit for the city. And that I think communication is broken down here. And largely, from my understanding, the union has not received a clear explanation as to why this annual physical bonus has not been paid. There's been text messages, there's been phone calls, but there hasn't been a clear explanation in writing at any point that I think would have dispelled perhaps some of the misunderstanding that's going on here.
I'm just going to object to that because I'm not sure, I've never met this attorney before, Keith Carlson.
Yep.
Okay. Are you with Sugarman and Horowitz?
Nope.
Okay. I sent a written letter to Sugarman and Horowitz explaining the situation in response to his letter about this very issue on April 23rd, 2014. And I do have a copy of,
Sure.
Council wants to read, I want to give it to the board.
Sure.
Explaining this very issue and how that it appears that not only have they been compensated, they might have actually been overcompensated in pursuant to section.
Correct. Yeah, I have seen this letter,
Okay,
but I
well,
think,
that's not exactly true that we've never responded in writing, then, is it?
no, I think that there hasn't been a clear understanding of your position in writing. I think that because of your explanation here, this is not an election of remedies. And that I believe that it's been the city attorney's position, and that there's been multiple attempts to contact and have a conversation about this that I think haven't worked out. I'm not blaming you about anything. What I'm saying is that
Who
this
has
may be,
attempted to contact you?
I believe that somebody sat in your office for about 45 minutes
When?
yesterday trying to talk to you.
When?
Yesterday.
What time? Because we have
8,
cameras in this building.
8 till 8:40.
I didn't get here until 8:30, 8:45, and I was meeting
Okay,
with Brian Miller.
that's okay.
Well, was there an appointment? Did I know
I
this
don't
was
know.
supposed to be here? I mean, this,
Ma'am.
I find this ridiculous. If somebody were to show up without an appointment and say, well, you weren't here, and to use that as an argument for bad faith, I think that's ridiculous.
Counselor, I think the city's attempting to act in good faith, but I'd like to ask you.
I was waiting for council to finish.
Well, I mean, I find that absolutely ridiculous argument, that a person would show up without an appointment, without texting and saying, I'm going to be waiting for you, and then say, I've been waiting to try to reach you, and I was unsuccessful. It's ridiculous.
Duly noted. Do you have,
Here's the thing. The reason that I brought that up was not to blame you for anything. And I'm sorry if you took it that way. It wasn't how it was intended. I was trying to extend it and say, this is partially a communication problem. We're hoping to open a dialogue. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And whether or not, I'm not going to give you an exhaustive list of every time somebody's had a text message or a phone call about this. There's been conversation, and I think it's ships passing that haven't had an opportunity to meet the issue head on and deal with the underlying concerns. That's all I was saying.
I have a question with you.
Sure.
Have you noticed up the city that you're now representing the firefighters on this issue?
Nope.
Why not?
I was recently retained on this issue.
Okay. Were you retained by Stephen Horowitz?
Nope. I was retained by the firefighters union.
Okay. Well, perhaps you need to notice up the city, and maybe you have communication. But
Right. It wasn't a complaint that
Mr. President, that does bring an issue up. If Mr. Horowitz is representing them on this grievance issue and he has never entered his appearance, I don't know if he has standing to be here.
there's no requirement for standing or anything else. You don't even need to be an attorney to do this process. One of the members of the union can do it. And certainly the union is free to send whoever they want throughout this process. It's not in your province to choose who represents them. In addition, it's probably important to note that Mr. Horowitz is not licensed to practice law in Indiana.
Correct, but when you say that there's been no communication, and I've been communicating with the person who's representing themselves to be the attorney,
I don't-
not people showing up without appointments notwithstanding, then the whole issue of bad faith,
Ma'am,
self-created issue of bad faith.
ma'am, I'm sure that the board will probably give you an opportunity to finish, but I'd like to answer their questions, make my presentation, then respond to your comments rather than constantly be interrupted. And I think that's not an unreasonable request in any circumstance.
But you're not the attorney for this grievance.
I am the attorney of record. Here,
What
this is
record?
my appearance.
Do you have something in writing? Do you
I
have
don't-
something to show what firm you're with?
First of all, I don't have to respond to your cross-examination, but second, how about this? Do you know of a rule or regulation that requires me to enter an appearance in a grievance process or during this hearing?
You just said you're an attorney of record. Of what record would that be?
I just made it when I showed up here and said, hello, my name is
Okay.
Keith Carlson. I
Okay,
represent the
duly noted.
firefighters.
Let me ask a question so that we can get on with this.
That would be
You
important.
have the record of any deductions that have been taken from firefighters for premiums, for insurance premiums?
When you say deductions, I believe that the city has complied with the ordinance that says that they will receive a bonus for engaging in the blood draws.
Okay, that's on the one issue, but what about the second half of the grievance issue?
I am not aware of any deductions being made for firefighters for that $300 physical bonus.
Okay, could I ask you to pursue the city to get that information?
Certainly, I think that it's actually probably even more effective if it comes from you that the city be compelled to turn over evidence that they've paid the annual physical bonus, separate and apart from the ordinance requirement. I think that that would probably be more effective.
Take another advice. Let's get on with it.
do you have anything that you want to state?
Well,
for-
this information was communicated to Attorney Horowitz, who we had no other reason to believe was the attorney. And so he has received that information, and that information is contained in that letter, and I would ask you to show that in many cases, the firemen have been compensated greater than even 300 plus 400. And I'd like to know what the union's response is to those firefighters who are compensating in greater.
The response is that the compensation takes into account a discount that they would get anyways, even if they were not under the contract.
But sir, without you having any information about any credits against.
I'm saying that I'm not aware of them ever making any payments, and I've asked the union's not aware
Well,
of
but
them
if you're
making
not
payments.
aware of it, that doesn't mean none of them.
I have not seen any adequate evidence that demonstrates that they've paid the
Well,
annual
but
physical
you're
bonus.
standing here trying to make an argument today, maybe a moot point.
It hasn't been paid.
I guess, you know,
Here, we have payroll deductions here.
I'm Mike Hall, the Vice President of Hammond Firefighters Union. We have some checks here, check stubs, that'll show that none of them have ever been paid
how
for
many
all of
check
last
stubs
year.
do you have for all the firefighters?
We have the end of the year check stubs.
For all the firefighters?
I can show you one right here.
Well, you're gonna show me one. For all the firefighters or just
No.
one firefighter?
No offense, Council President, but we've already gone over this with the city and the city attorney, and everybody has admitted that we haven't received it. Everybody in this room, Chief Smith, Attorney Cantar, have already told everybody, we have not received it.
I'd like to make a motion that we take this under advisement.
We'd like to do some investigation on the issue and
Certainly.
revisit it in the near future.
Certainly, and I think it's probably helpful, and I thank you for having this opportunity to open this dialogue. At the same time, what information would you like so that we can help you do our due diligence as well? You would like every end-of-the-year pay stub from every firefighter?
Mr. President, this has been set for months. They could have sent it over and brought it today when they were waiting outside my office for 45 minutes without an appointment yesterday.
There's a motion and a concurrence.
I'm just asking if there's other information you'd like from us, we certainly want to make it so
Well,
you can make an
since you're
informed
new
opinion.
counsel of record, if there is, the city attorney will be in contact with you and probably the city controller.
Okay,
Okay?
great, thanks for your help.
There's a motion and concurrence. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K, business license revocation hearing, Doosan LLC DBA Goldberg.
Mr. President, Attorney Padula was here before the hearing started. He provided me with written documentation that the company in question has obtained the leads online registration. If the board wishes to see it, I do have that, and I would ask that we terminate the action against them.
Chris, what do you,
Your recommendation is to revocate the business license?
No, they're in compliance.
Oh.
The grounds of the revocation is they were not in compliance with the ordinance, so I would ask that the action be dismissed against Dushan.
motion that we dismiss the action on this?
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item L, business license revocation hearing, Dev Group Auto Incorporated. Morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jerome Head, and I received a letter in the mail that our business license had been not approved regarding some criminal activities, but there is none.
Mr. President, just for clarification, for every licensed applicant, we do run a criminal background check. There is an unresolved criminal case out of the state of Illinois, County Cook. It just doesn't say what happened with it. There was a bond posted of $300, so something happened, but it never said disposition one way or the other, dismissal, deferral, conviction, so it still shows it's pending.
That happened about 4 years ago. It was regarding some traffic, and the ticket was paid, but I'm not sure where they're getting the information that it's still open.
Traffic matter, sir?
It was the traffic.
Post a bond for traffic in Cook County?
Well, yeah, I had to post a bond. It was dismissed.
Do you have any documentation in support of?
Actually, I didn't know which file, court number they was talking about, because every time I called, nobody had information on it. They wouldn't give it to me.
Where'd you call?
Here
or Illinois?
Yeah, no, here.
Well, we're Indiana, we wouldn't know. That's why she doesn't even have.
I mean, like, she said it was like, it should be some type of court number.
It says arrest date 2/3 of 2008, bond posted $300. Offense not specified.
Right, I have no information on what they're talking
I
about.
would suggest you probably go to Cook County and give them your license, so when you run a background, maybe you can find out, but.
Yeah, I just need something showing that this arrest date of 2/3 of '08 resulted in a dismissal or no action. I mean, that's all I have.
Oh, okay.
We don't usually post bonds on traffic matters in this state, so it has to be criminal, even if it was a driving while suspended.
Well, I can provide that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we need. We want to make sure it was an auto theft.
No, it wasn't that. Oh, so what would I bring it
Just to me, you give it to me.
to? Okay, that's fine. I can do that.
Mr. Head, if you provide that information to the city attorney, we should be able to deal with this issue going down the road, so
Okay, sounds great.
thank you.
My address and phone number on the letter you got.
Oh,
Motion that we order action on this time.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Correspondence received from Car Zone Auto Exchange Incorporated, DBA Absolute Motors, requesting a hearing regarding the denial of a business license.
Anybody from Car Zone Exchange Incorporated?
Mr. President, I believe they're asking for a hearing date in a future period of time.
I'm sorry.
Sometime in August, perhaps?
August 28th? 21st?
The motion? Second. All those in favor? Ayes have it. Item N, hearing regarding property located at 584 Sibley.
Mr. President, Kurt Foss, oh, he's here, I'm sorry, I said he left. Kurt Foss had requested a continuance, and I have no objection. There was an issue with the electrical, that's in the process of being remedied.
Yes, Your Honor, and, or Board, Your Honors. The one thing I'd like to clarify is, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I had called over to, we were trying to get an electrician in there to turn on, to address the issue that the city has brought up. The department won't agree to turning on the power. I called, I was referred to Council Kantar. She called me back, said there should be no problem, and he came and was not. I'd like the board to stress to the department that they should issue a turn-on permit, providing it's a licensed electrician. He pays the turn-on fee, so we can get the electrician in there, see what the electrical problem is, and address it. And I would agree to the continuance.
Mr. Brown, is that the way that conversation went, sir?
You don't have a right to address my client directly.
Okay.
I can attest my conversation with Mr. Foss, it was either Monday or Tuesday, and we did have a discussion about the electrician turning on the electrical.
So let's get the electrician in here, the licensed electrician.
Okay, wait.
All service.
One person at a time.
Immediately after that, Mr. Brown came with an electrician from All Service Electric. Had an in-depth conversation with Mr. Brown and what needed to be done in the department that he had remodeled after the fire. What I wanted to do is remove the drywall that was necessary to do the inspection to find out, for All Service to find out what is behind that wall. Is it knob and tube? Is it Romex? Is it conduit? No reconnection will be issued until we find out what we have to do. What's behind that wall? It's been remodeled. It's been work has been done. We don't know what's behind the wall.
Well, we'd like to, for our purposes, get a licensed electrician in there.
Expose the electric, expose what outlets, switches need to be inspected.
We
And we'll go
understand.
from there.
We understand. The issue we're gonna deal with, though, is continuance, so.
We'll deal with that before the judge. They've also gone against. All right.
There's a motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes
Thank
have
you.
it. Item O, order of dismissal for property located at 4828 Oak Avenue.
Which one, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Item O, order of
between Justin Murphy and the city of Hammond. The person that was cited was the incorrect person. It was Christina Aviano, was really Cesar, our son. And so the document, I have approved the document, it does speak for itself.
Make order, motion that we dismiss action.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item P, rental registration hearing on property located at 838 Wilcox. 838 Wilcox.
Lock up.
Mr. President, if nobody appears, I would ask that the appeal be denied.
For actually 2013 and 2014.
2 years? Is it single, one unit?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we, the registration has to be paid for 13 and 14 and a late fee for every year.
Motion,
I'll second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Before I go on to item Q, I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Janet Benez. Good morning, Councilwoman. Nice to see you. Item Q, rental registration hearing on property located at 7405 Alexander Avenue.
Good morning.
She's my interpreter, so let's speak a little bit.
Name's Ray.
Yeah, the unit wasn't registered this year,
No,
Or 2013.
13 and 14?
Correct.
Go ahead.
so the house never been renting. La casa nunca estuvo rentada. Yo la traté de vender.
Well, Jose, he just moved into a new house, just purchased a few months ago, and he put his old house on sale. He's trying to sell the house as the owner, you know. And, well, they met this couple, his wife met this couple, they're interested in the house, they went to see the house, and they seem to be really interested. They moved in. It's according us Jose's,
When did they move in?
They have like la middle in December.
on the middle of this.
2013? Okay.
Yeah,
When did you move out?
I moved out in October 30. October.
2013?
Yes,
Last year.
by trying to keep the house ready to people can live there. If they want to sell it,
All right, so people moved in December,
They moved in.
and are they still there now?
no,
When did they move out?
like 2 meses después.
Like 2 months after that, they moved into.
Because I don't.
They didn't do any agreement because they were supposed to, they moved into the house because their contract in the house they were living before expired, so they asked them to renew it and they didn't want to, so they moved into the house in order to start the process of the purchase. And then these people didn't do any payments, they didn't do nothing, so when he realized that they were not paying anything, he asked them to move. So they moved out.
How long did it take him to realize he wasn't getting paid?
¿Qué cuánto tiempo tomó para que tú te das cuenta que no los
2
estaban?
meses, como 2 meses y
2
una
months.
semana.
About 2 months, because they were moving all the paperwork supposedly. They trust them because his wife knew the people,
Okay.
so they want to help out.
So right now, is the house being rented right now? Is there anybody living
No,
in it?
he's selling the house to another family.
That's fine. Kelly?
We have a lease from December 3rd, 2013 to December 2014 for a Jose Martinez.
Yeah.
And then Jose Leon.
Who's Jose Martinez? The guy that was living
The
there,
guy
that moved out?
The family was living.
Okay. Where'd you get this?
También él no pagó el agua, no pagó nada, por eso
Oh, it
es
seems
la
that
razón que
this
tal
guy,
vez
the
es
reason why he came over is because he didn't pay water, nothing. They were supposed part of the agreement. When he realized it, yeah. It was,
So this is 13 to 4 for December 13 to end of November 14, correct?
Correct. In September 2013,
He said he rented it in October. My question is it 7504 Alexander, or is it 7405 Alexander? His thing says 7504.
7504.
74 to 5.
7405.
Somebody wrote down the wrong address up here. Okay. All right, So you did have it rented at one time during 2013 and...
I didn't rent it, sir. I never rented the house.
You just said October you had...
I trying to sell it. These people came to me, to my wife that's supposed to wants to buy the house because I put it for sale by owner. So they wants to move there because they're supposed to, the contract, okay. They wants to buy the house, but they want to do the whole paperwork
While we were living in the house.
in the house because they said the other part of the way this was, se ve vencido, this is part of the contract.
Yeah, their
Kelly,
contract
Kelly, so
expired.
the issue is it 1 year or 2 years, right? Isn't that what the
If he
issue is?
took the homestead off, because he moved into another house, is that what the deal was?
Well, you get two homesteads, usually homesteads, you have the house that you're living in.
I mean, what it did, what I'm saying is he probably took it off of this one and put it on the one he just moved into.
I would just use 2013, but we have at least 2014. Was the resolution 14?
I make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the $80 must be paid within the next, must be paid.
The motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. So, pay $80 for this year, they're gonna remove the $500 late filing fee, 30 days to do that.
Thank you.
Either wait till the end of the meeting, or they'll mail you something.
I mailed something on the mail for the new address.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item R, run a registration hearing on property located at 1334 Indiana Avenue.
I honestly forget to pay, sir.
Right.
Yes, you know, I come in a month later, you know.
Is it a single family?
It's a single family, yes. It's only one property. It's two properties on the same lot. I live on the rear and I rent the front.
So just 1
Honestly,
year?
Yes.
it's only 1 year, yeah. It was a month late.
What'd you say two for?
2 years, two houses on one lot. I didn't recognize that you lived in one of the units.
Yeah, I live on the
Oh,
rear.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the $80 must be paid.
Motion, second, all in favor? Ayes have it. 30 days to pay, sir, $80.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir.
Item S, run a registration hearing on property located at 7132 Jarnike Avenue.
This has never been registered from 2009 through 2014.
2009?
Correct.
Good morning. We actually started renting on October. And we didn't.
How long have you owned it?
We owned it since 2006.
Okay. So, did you guys live in it then?
Yes.
Up until when?
Till October, and then we started renting it to them.
October of what?
¿Cuándo salimos? 2013. 2013.
We have it from 2009, 2014, that it's never been registered. I don't have any documentation showing it from the water records
That what?
that there was a tenant or,
You have no documentation to prove that? Is that what you said?
I don't have any documentation saying that there was a tenant in 2009.
So you owned it since '06 and you moved out in October of '13?
Well, we moved a couple months before, like in August, and then we started renting it
Okay, when did
in
you start
October.
renting it?
October. We moved out like around August of 2013. And the reason we didn't get a permit was because we ignored the law that we were supposed to get a registration to rent the property, or we would have gotten it.
When did you come in to try to register it?
When the inspector went to the house because she wasn't paying her water bill.
When was that, you know?
¿Cuándo fue cuando no pagó el bill?
No sabemos porque les cortaron, tuvieron meses sin agua.
We don't know how long.
Was it 2014?
Yeah, it was this year. It was a couple months ago because it was months that went by that she didn't pay the water bill.
Chris, what do we do if they didn't rent it until October?
If it's rented at any point in time during the year, that counts for a year to be registered.
Are they able to get to register it in 13 if they did in October?
What they would have to do is they would have to come and register it within 30 days of renting it, so that would be in November.
Okay, so I'm asking, they're able to do that instead of,
Yeah, yes.
not considered late? Okay.
No, that wouldn't be late if they came within 30 days.
You're still renting it now?
Yes, they're still there.
And it's one
Yes,
single family?
yes, one single family.
I'll make a motion that we waive the late fee, but 13 and 14 have to be registered at $80.
Second.
The motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. 30 days to pay, sir, $80.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, sir, are we talking 2 years, or are we talking 1 year?
13 and 14.
13 and 14? Kelly?
Yes, 13 and 14.
Correct.
I'm sorry, 2 years.
Okay.
Item T, rental registration hearing on property located at 7516 Jarnakey Avenue. Good morning.
Good morning. I lost my fiance, best friend, and another couple in a plane wreck in November, and I just kind of was in a depression and lost track of things. I called actually like very close to the due date to try to pay it, and they said I had to come to.
I'd like to make a motion, we waive the late fee, but the $80 must be paid.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Ayes have it, thank you, sir.
Can I pay that
30
now?
days.
or
You can wait.
till after? I'm sorry, you can wait till after, or they'll send you something in the mail.
They'll send me something? Okay, thank you.
Item U, rental registration hearing on property located at 909 Spruce Street and 1113 Spruce Street.
First of all, excuse me, I don't own the property at 1113 Spruce Street. It's 1112 Indiana.
It's 1112 Indiana?
Yep.
That's the information I have from 1112 Indiana.
You're Mr. Grant?
Yes.
And you, okay.
Okay, so we have 909 Spruce Street and 1112 Indiana.
Indiana, yes.
Okay.
What do you got, Kelly? You got Indiana or Spruce on both?
Yours were, we have Indiana, 1112 Indiana, and the 909 Spruce. Yours for 2014 on both properties. The tenants have been there, Anna Gonzalez from October 2008 current, and the other one, Mr. Smith, from April 24, 2012 current.
I usually pay on time. There's no doubt about that. In March, I usually come home. I go to Arizona in the winter.
God bless you.
And I usually, thank you. And I usually pay these. But I got cancer. I was having treatment in another town, was 60 miles away. I was taking treatment 3 times a week, and I forgot about it. I found it on a piece of paper that I owed by April, which I was late, so I called city, and I told them, could I pay this now, send me an application. They said, no, you're going to have to write a letter to the inspection department, which I did. And that's...
So how many, is it just 14 we're going, Kelly?
Correct.
I'll make a motion, we waive the late fee, hold on. 909 Spruce, is that single family or duplex or?
That's single family.
What about Indiana?
Single family.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee on both, but both units have to be registered at $80 per unit.
Concur? All those in favor? Ayes have it, thank you, sir. 30
Okay.
days to register.
Pardon?
30 days to register.
Oh, I'll do it today.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going
can
back to
wait till-
Arizona today. So.
Very good.
I got to go out this door. I got to give you later.
Item B, rental registration hearing on property located at 2463 New York Avenue, 962 Summer Street, 432 Highland Street, and 4430 Columbia Avenue. Good morning.
Good morning. I relied on the U.S. Post Office, so I didn't get it in on time. I threw it in a box.
You do
I
what?
relied on the post office. Last year when I sent them in, I sent them by priority mail with tracking. And somewhere around May, I was notified that they actually did have them.
What was for 2014, current tenants,
No problem.
same tenants, first and years that I see now.
Okay, ma'am, is New York Avenue a single family?
Yes, they are all single families.
All of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make a motion that we waive the late fee, all 3 units have to be registered at $80.
I can pay that today.
At the end of the meeting, you'll see this young lady, and she will get you the paperwork, and you can go downstairs and pay.
Concur.
Thank you very
All those
much.
in favor? Ayes have it. Item W, rental registration hearing on property located at 4326 Sheffield Avenue.
Good morning. 2013, I totally forgot. I've owned the place since November of '96. I registered it every year. I just totally spaced it out.
Is it a single family, sir?
2 unit.
2 unit? I'll make a motion that we waive the late fee, but each unit has to be registered at $80.
I registered this year. I'm good this year.
Oh, this is for 13?
This is for 13.
13 only? Concur? All those in favor? Ayes have it. 30 days, sir.
I'll get something in the mail?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks.
Item X, rental registration hearing on property located at 6711 Wicker Avenue and 612 Conkey Street.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Yes, my dad owns the properties, and the address of record is in Oak Lawn. However, he moved just a few months ago, and he's up in Niles now, so I am helping him, and it was an oversight, but we can take care of the rental registrations for both properties.
Are they both single family?
They are.
Make a
Just for
motion.
214.
I'm sorry?
Just for 214.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but both units have to be registered at the $80.
Motion?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have it 30 days, sir.
Thank you,
can
Board.
wait till after the meeting, or you'll get something in the mail.
Okay, thank you, Board.
Thank you. Item Y, rental registration hearing on property located at 4604 Henry Avenue, both front and rear.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If there was a notice sent out this year for the registration, we didn't get it. And at that point, by the time we got around to, what was it, a dog license that prompted her to come here, it was already too late. This was the first year that
Okay.
it's not been paid, and it wasn't,
Front and rear house?
yes.
14 only?
14.
Make a motion that we waive the late fees, and both units have to be registered at the $80.
The motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 30 days, sir. You could wait till after the meeting, or you'll get something in the mail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item Z, rental registration hearing on property located at 2118 Lake Avenue. Okay, so we'll deal with 2118 Lake and also 2135 Lake.
Yeah. She's 2118.
Okay.
Okay. And I had the checks written out. They didn't get here on time.
So, I have a question. We mailed it to 2135.
Right.
Who lives there?
I do, and she does.
Who lives at 18?
That's rented out.
So you guys live in 35, so it's not a rental?
Well, it's a duplex. It's a,
So you both live in it, though? I mean, I'm sorry, do you live in one unit or you
Right.
rent the other one out?
Mhm.
So you only rent one, okay.
sure.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe you were living in both sides.
No.
We're only,
Let's go to 18 now. Let's make a motion on 18 that we waive the late fee. It has to be registered at the $80.
motion?
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. I'm gonna do 2135.
And then also on that one, on Y, we're going to waive the late fee, but the unit has to be registered at the $80.
Right.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Ayes have it. 30 days to pay.
Right.
Pay after the meeting, or you'll get something in the mail.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Correspondence requesting rental registration hearing.
28? August 28th.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. Item CC, agreement to rehabilitate property located at 1107 Wilcox Street, First Amendment.
Mr. President, this is a property that is under a rehab agreement, however, they just needed a little bit more time. Everything takes longer than you think, and so the board is just giving them till the end of summer.
August 28th?
No, that's fine. The additional time is in the agreement, I just need you to approve it.
Make a motion that we approve this.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. Item DD, correspondence received from the United States Environmental Protection Agency regarding ownership of property.
Mr. President, this is a section of property that the US EPA believed that the city owned. We were able to show that we did not own it, we never accepted it. It was a donation from the railroad. And so they are now acknowledging the fact that we do not own it, and they must deal with the railroad. They just want to stay, they want to set up there, they want to station there for a project.
Where's the property?
Stan knows it is.
It's on the south side of the Grand Cal River between State Line and Homan Avenue. It's the extension, if the bike trail would have went all the way up to that point, that property would have been part of it, but they were issues with that property, there was
Contamination, which
We
did.
didn't want to accept that, so we only accepted the property
Oh, is
from
that the old Nesco property?
right adjacent to it. There's
The
a,
coal tar, right? The coal tar?
right next to it, so
I got you.
it wasn't accepted as part of the bike trail project, and it was left out, so.
I got you. Duly noted.
So what, do we need to take action on
No,
it?
it's just, because the issue of the ownership was so unclear from the records, this document now at least makes a memorialization that we don't.
Right, they're gonna use that as their staging area for the cleanup of the last Lincoln River.
Got it. Item E, tort claim notice received from Polanski and Sheehan. What's CHTD? Chartered? Oh, chartered.
If you could tell me what the subject matter is, we get a lot of court notices, so. Find any particular one.
Claimant's name is Geraldine Adams.
Okay, Mr. President, this is an issue, in fact, I was meeting with our investigator at 8:45 on Wednesday. At the time, random firemen were hanging around looking for me. And it's being investigated by our adjuster. That's all, she just noted your acceptance of it.
No action needed. Item FF, bid recommendation letter received from First Group Engineering, Inc. for the 4th District Decorative Street Lighting Project.
Yeah, these are the bids that we opened last week. First Group is recommending that the bid be awarded to Hawk Enterprises. They were the lowest bidder with a price of $399,501. So I'd like to make a motion that we concur with their recommendation.
Second. There's a motion. Second, ayes have it. Item GG, notice of transfer of assets received from Motorola.
Mr. President, Motorola had a contract with the city of Hammond. They are no longer owning the assets that are subject to the contract and transferred to another party. I just wanted the Board of Works to have a record in case it ever should come up in the future, in case it falls off and lands on somebody.
So noted. Item HH, correspondence received from First Group Engineering, Inc. regarding the Wolf Lake Forsyth Trail Project.
Yeah, this basically is a status report on the project. There's some issues that are delaying the completion of the project, and it could affect the WAM ride that's scheduled for, I think, the first week of August. I don't think it prevents us from utilizing it. Most of the trail's there, but there's a missing link right at Indianapolis Boulevard. There's also a missing link under the toll. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna prepare those areas so that you can get off of the trail for those 2 short distances. And this was basically to notify us that it wasn't gonna be quite ready. So we don't need any action on it for informational purposes.
So noted. Correspondence received, item II. Correspondence received from Miss Susie Lewis, 6239 Moraine Avenue, requesting street closure for an outdoor party Sunday, July 27, 2014, from 2 to 6 p.m.
It's the English Garden Tea Party, in case anybody's interested.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
The 5th annual. Make a motion that we bring this over to Chief Doty.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Item JJ, garage sale permits submitted for approval.
Make a motion that we approve all of them.
The motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Item 6, matters from board members.
I have correspondence here from Reichelt Plumbing. They're gonna need to close an alley starting today, shortly, probably about 10 a.m.
Hurry.
At 143rd, between State Line Road and Clark Avenue. They are doing some exploratory digging to determine if there's a water line in that area. They're working with the Hammond Water Department. I'd like to make a motion that we approve that alley closure. The work should be completed by the end of the day today.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Any other board member issues? Item 7, matters from other department heads or their representatives.
None seen, none.
Item 8, new business. Item 9, old business. Item 10, meeting is now open to the public. Anyone from the public want to address the board?
You adjourn.